Welcome to Empowered Podcast. My name is Christina.
And this is Liliani.
In today's episode, we are going to talk about productivity and habit formation. And in case you have no idea what that title means, it's offering strategies to overcome procrastination and build positive routines. Because ultimately, procrastination and people who procrastinate, it can become habit forming. Mm-hmm. Why did I want to do this episode? I have somebody I love so much in my life that is the biggest procrastinator. Mm-hmm. So I'm like buckling down hard on that person. Mm-hmm. He, she. That's the pronouns I'm going to use so you don't know who it is.
They.
Anyhow, yeah, that's one of the reasons that really prompted the research on this. And we just watched an episode of Oprah Winfrey where a guest speaker talked on the subject matter of,
what had people to procrastinate? What leads people to procrastinate?
Wait, I don't know if that is in for this one. Maybe that was for the wrong episode. This may be a blooper.
What is it?
Well, hold on, because I said we watched a video, but I don't know if it's into this one. I don't think it's...
Isn't the video for procrastination?
No, I don't think so. I think it was for...
Well, I would tell you, I did not watch the video.
Shoot, how do I... Okay, this is a blooper. Now we have to start all over. Dang it. Let me stop. No, let me stop.
Did you stop the...
No, it's okay. That can roll on. I don't know. I have to get to... This is Google Scripts. Let me go back to my drive real quick. Let me look on this podcast videos and audios. The one that's in is called The Authentic Empowered Person. Yeah, so it's not in... It wasn't in that one. So that was definitely a blooper. It's the next one we're going to do. All right, let me go back to this. So here we are. And I'll start a new video. Let me save this real quick as, save as, file, save as, blooper. Save it to desktop, save. Now let me go backwards. So Axel, if you want to use this as a blooper, you've got the audio still, you've got the audio saved as bloopers, and then this right here, this recording still. And then let me delete. Now we're going to record. You ready, hun?
Mm-hmm. Trying to get my...
Okay. So this episode is on productivity and habit formation. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Empowered Podcast.
I'm sorry. Can you do it again?
Okay.
After
this part. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Empowered Podcast. My name is Christina.
And this is Liliani.
In today's episode, we're going to be talking about productivity and habit formation. This pertains to basically procrastination, and it's offering strategies to overcome procrastination and build positive routines. Mm-hmm. And the reason I really wanted to cover this topic is somebody very dear to me is the biggest procrastinator, and it really impacts people in your life. When you procrastinate about things, not only does it slow you down or prevent you from accomplishing and reaching your goals, but it also can impact your family members, your loved ones.
And this is really great because I am the procrastinator.
Are you?
Like, yeah, and I am someone who makes a lot of things happen, and there are things that I can't keep in procrastination mode.
Okay,
so we'll have a really great conversation.
Okay. Are you going to be transparent and honest? Because we want to do this episode in 30 minutes. That's our goal.
Let's do it.
So as much as we've got to touch on something.
I think if I could say what I would, well, I can say. I'm saying that the main thing about procrastination is to discover the things that really matter, because a lot of times there's procrastination because there's underneath thoughts or feelings that we're not expressing, and then we procrastinate to avoid dealing with them.
Okay, yeah, I think that's covered in this beginning. So let's first kind of dive into why people procrastinate, because there's a couple different reasons. People procrastinate because their brain's drive to delay is stronger than their drive to act in the moment. Again, repeat that. Their drive to delay is stronger than their drive to act. And that this happens when self-control and motivation are weakened by issues like exhaustion, or while being opposed by factors like fear or anxiety. And this person that I was talking about, that's what drives them to procrastinate is fear or anxiety of the unknown. They just don't do well.
The underneath that I mentioned.
Yes. So specifically, what is drive to act? And drive to act depends on self-control and motivation, which can be influenced by fatigue, rewards, depression, ADHD, and more. So the drive to act, some people just lack that naturally, and for those reasons that we just touched on. The drive to delay is based on the desire to feel better in the short term by avoiding negative emotions like fear of the task or increasing positive emotions through distraction. Do you ever hear that people they live in denial? And that's why many people procrastinate, because they just rather not know what the outcome's going to be, so they just live in denial.
They don't take action.
They don't take action because of the fear of the outcome. So other key reasons why people procrastinate include prioritizing short-term mood over long-term consequences, finding a task aversive, frustrating, boring, or pleasant, feeling overwhelmed by too many things to do. Is that you?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's you. Perfectionism and refusal to publish work with flaws, discounting future rewards and focusing on delayed outcomes, low motivation due to low value outcomes, and cognitive biases like unreasonable pessimism about success. Do you relate to more than one of them, or just mostly that one?
I think what is the first one again?
The first one, prioritizing short-term mood over long-term consequences.
That comes from being overwhelmed from many things to do and being tired.
Yeah.
So then the tiredness makes me to I'm just going to do later,
Exactly. You just keep taking care of the small task at hand and keep shelving the long-term goal.
Another thing that helps, impacts me in the procrastination, especially with projects. I have projects, and it reminds me when I was a business coach, we had this thing about time management, that you have low priority and high priority, emergency and not emergency, things that you have to divide it in what type of task they are.
Right.
And we have a tendency to deal with all the emergencies all the time, and we end up not putting too much effort and attention to the long-term tasks.
Right.
Because of the emergency. So that's something that occurs to me when I have a lot of things coming at me as an emergency. I have to attend. I drop the ball on the other things. And that's the work that I recently have been doing to not deal with the emergency, because some of them are not really a real emergency.
Yeah, I was just going to ask that, because to me, the bell that's ringing in my head is poor management, in the sense of managing your time effectively and efficiently. Because we should always allow for some obstacle, some curveball to be thrown at us, but prioritizing in a way where time management is key to anybody to overcome procrastination. So I think also in here, for instance, ways to address and improve procrastination, it's done through what's known as habit formation. And I think many people who are able to admit out loud that they procrastinate a lot, they need to just put in, it is a habit, it becomes habit forming, And it's just this one particular person I was referencing earlier, that's just who I am. Deal with it, It's like, hey, it's my problem, it's not your problem. Well, no, when your problem impacts me directly, it becomes my problem. So I think for that person, it is that fear of that unknown. I think a lot of cases it is. Mind you, procrastination is a little bit different than time management too. You understand? I know you understand that.
Yeah, I keep putting off something that I need to take care of it, and then there's different reasons why I do that, right?
Yeah.
So what is the reasons that we do procrastinate?
So let's talk quickly about here's some key strategies. I'm going to use going to the gym as an example of what many people procrastinate about, right? Many people procrastinate about going to the gym. So basically,
how about the Monday diet? Oh, Monday I will start my diet
next week. I'm going to start start small and be consistent. Consistency is key. Begin with tiny habits that are easy to accomplish, like doing 5 push-ups daily or meditating for 1 minute. This makes it easier to get started without relying on motivation. So let's take another personal example. Let's use your work schedule. So if you find that happens a lot and you keep pushing off your long-term goals or something that's extremely important, then what if you start to dissect and divide? You're going to allow 3 small.
Here's something that I recently started doing. Okay, so I have a lot of projects long term that has not been attended to because the emergencies come in, right?
But we admitted that those emergencies might not necessarily be real emergencies. They're just little things
that
part
come
of business
up.
that come up. Okay.
So then I created 2 months ago, I will not start any new project. I'm going to complete the ones that I have.
Great.
So, for example, I have my products. I have a book, a catalog book with all the informations about each product in the front desk. But those products has been not updated in a while, like maybe 2 years. I have new products that are not there. I have a new website that just went live yesterday we need to fix the pictures and fix the content, updated some formulas has been improved. So there's a lot of little work that needs to be done. That is a lot of work for me and Florence, who is the herbalist, to sit down and do the work, and it takes a lot of time.
Okay.
And I'm a perfectionist in that regard, right? So I want to make sure that we have a nice booklet, and we have been working on that for the last 2 months. Every time I have time, I sit down. I said, I have 2 hours. Can you sit down? Let's do it. So yesterday we finished the book. And then I'm going to take it to print. When I print out, I start seeing that there's a lot of things there was not correct. Why I'm saying this is that...
Yeah, let's get
to the point. The point is that...
Where's the procrastination coming in this?
2 years. Well, at least a year now. I did a course with the wrong catalog back in October last year, and since then I have been wanting to complete this task. It wasn't until this month I said, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to get this done. Every time I have it, I sit down and I do it. Why I was procrastinating? Because everything else occurs more important than that book.
Yeah, because the book is a long-term goal. So you're identifying that as something that doesn't need your immediate attention. It's just a goal that you need to make time to accomplish.
Now, the other thing that really kicked on my butt was that in the last 6 months, our sales for products went down 30%. And I do believe it's because the lack of training for the products, because the products are really powerful products, but if the therapists are not well trained, the front desk are not well trained, if I don't have a quality material to inform the people that are buying, of course there's lack of information will create lack of purchase. So there's an impact. So when I deal with the impact of procrastination, I'm more likely to do what I need to do to get it done.
Well, so in your case, I think there's a lot that needs your attention. You're one person.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think prioritizing. So I think it
That's
just
the
needs to be
challenge.
it needs to be you need to address these things, and your to-do list may change from week to week because some things may be moved down the list and other things may be moved up. The moneymaker issues need to be addressed first. So that's another key that you can do for procrastination is writing down what it is that needs your undivided attention and priority, and then addressing the things. And typically when in reference to this episode, what I was hoping to touch on is not so much how to prioritize things of importance, but why we procrastinate when it becomes habit forming. You say you're going to do something and you don't do it. Even if it means I'm going to get to the garage today, I'm going to clean it, and you keep. Typically, people who procrastinate where it's chronic procrastination, they do it in all areas of their life. It's just not putting off one thing like I'm going to file this paper tomorrow. It's also like I got to clean the garage. I've been hearing you say that for 2 months now. What's stopping you from doing it? I see you sitting in front of the TV. I see you working out at the gym. You got to identify it. If it's part of your character, it's not a healthy characteristic.
Do you have anything that you procrastinate? No.
I know I answered that quickly, but I prioritize and I'm very structured. I don't set these big, things that I know I can't achieve. I do it, and I'm
the little parts.
And I'm always in my calendar, and I'm very respectful and cognitive of people's time. So if it's something that's going to impact, I can't do something else something for somebody else because I put this off, then I reprioritize. I manage it. Some of the other tips is increase gradually, so taking baby steps with something like this, and that would mean like the small things, your smaller tasks, making those priority and working up to your big task. And then cutting it in half. I'm going to give an hour each week to this major task. For instance, for you, it's the catalog. Maybe just setting aside 1 hour a week.
Something that I did that used to be a procrastination, which was going to the gym. And at one point when I got real that not exercising or not strength exercising was impacting my ability to dance and having my ability to have strong knees, I start doing something about it. I think like when you get present to the impact of not acting on something, you start, for me, is when it shift. When the impact of not getting something done, it's
impacted something you love. Then you started realizing it, started hitting home for you.
And a lot of times I procrastinate things for me to do for others.
Yeah. I'm gonna break, I had a list of tips on how to break the habit of
Let's go for it.
No, I'm gonna actually move away from that because I think personalizing it more in a personal story will help with our remaining 15 minutes. I don't know why. Listen, this is I want to keep this to 30 minutes. That's our goal. We've always been going over another 45 minutes into an hour, so I'm gonna stay on. I'm going to organize this task. Yeah. So why is procrastinating, how can that be harmful to us as individuals? How does that keep us set back? Because you never accomplish those goals. And the sense of accomplishment empowers us. And it's important if you're going to set goals or tasks for yourself, it's important to meet those goals or those tasks, to accomplish those tasks, because it empowers us. So let's just take a personal, this week, something that you said, I'm going to accomplish this week, and you didn't.
And I did not.
That you procrastinated means that it's not that it's something that you didn't have time for, you just pushed it. You pushed it aside. Is there anything that happened? Well, we're only into Tuesday, so it could be last week.
Last week.
Just something that you can think of.
It occurs to me as a choice, like, what do I need to do it now?
How about bills? People procrastinate a lot with bills that comes in the mail.
You know something that, okay, sorry.
It's okay.
I remember changing banks.
Okay.
And the process of changing banks for all the automatic payments is painful. And I have procrastinating, sitting down, making sure that every bank is taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
And today I just received a bill because I didn't change the automatic payment from that bank to this bank.
Mm.
And that's something that I didn't attend to because I procrastinate because of like I didn't put priority.
Okay.
But I think my lack of my procrastination comes from which thing do I manage first?
All right. And so if you were to come to me and say, how can I manage these things more so that I don't keep putting off things, I would simplify it by writing it all down, you know, and I take my priorities for the month. I take things, and it's business and personal, and I write it all down on my calendar, and at first I write down how many things that I have, what are my goals, and if it's 10 things, okay, well there's 4 weeks basically in the month, so I need to do at least 2 of these things each week. I need to accomplish, be able to, you know, check them off my list, and maybe 1 week there'll be 3 things I need to take care of. And if they're written down, they are basically, your subconscious can kind of let go of the clutter because you know you have it written down, and when you start doing that habit, you tend to see these things through, whereas if you just keep them all in here in your mind, they become cluttered and they mixed in with all the other things that are going to come up, and then all of a sudden you just let go of them. Either you subconsciously let go of them, or you mentally and physically just say, I'm not doing it, I'm not doing these things, I got to attend to these things. That's one way that I address those things effectively, is write it down. And then if for some reason some things don't get done because there's missing parts or something of higher priority comes aboard, it's okay. I'm gentle on myself, but I move it forward. I just don't let it go. I physically go into my calendar and I move it forward. Something that we touched on earlier about people that tend to procrastinate about things out of fear of not knowing the outcome. Well, how does moving it or not addressing it erase the fear? It doesn't. It doesn't erase the issue or the problem. You got to address it. I'll give you an example so you can relate more. This individual that I know keeps saying, I need to file some paperwork. It pertains to a divorce. I need to file some paperwork. Okay, and then every time they come in for their appointment, you know, I ask them, did you file? No, I didn't file that paper. Why not? You know, well, you know, they're like, because I don't know how it's going to impact our relationship. We have a good relationship right now. I don't know how it's going to impact, you know, then it's the money I have to pay for. Well, you always knew you had to pay the money to hire an attorney to file the paperwork. What does it matter how it's going to impact your relationship? This is something that's going to benefit you. Why are you not wanting to do it? So, you know, people will make 100 reasons why not to do something, but it's a hypothetical because you truly don't know how the outcome's going to end or what's going to come of it until you do it.
But is the fear, the underneath fear, the hidden is the fear of something that I think a lot of times is imaginary.
Yeah, it's a hypothetical. It's something that may or may not occur, and that's in every part of our life, in every aspect of our life. So,
but see, there's a lack of. So I'm relating to that with my subject of the franchising. I just had a conversation with the person who is supporting me in creating the franchise model. And he said, I said, like, I don't feel I'm ready. And he said, we have been doing this for 15 years. You are ready.
Yeah.
And you're dealing with the imposter syndrome, that you have this feeling that you feel like you're not ready, because it's unknown.
Yeah.
But we are from outside. We can tell you're ready.
Yeah.
And so I would say the fear and anxiety comes from inexperience as well. The fear of making a mistake and failure. Failure.
Yeah.
And that's like a part of procrastination too, is the fear of failure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But where would we be in life if we were afraid to fail? I mean, and even through failing, there's learning, and there's growth.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's so many things in here that I wanted to touch on, and if it allows me in the comments under this podcast, you know, our podcasts are here on YouTube, but I'm going to put these points of reference in the comments because I think they're really good. It's just too much to go through right here.
What would you say is like what would be like a powerful technique that you would recommend besides, okay, you already said it. It's like writing it down.
Yeah.
I also distinguish something. I do a lot of self-work and therapies and everything, and I recently discovered family constellation. I think I said this in another episode. Do you know about family constellation?
How does it?
It's
relating
systemic family constellation is a psychotherapy created by Bellinger, is a German psychologist, and basically is dealing with ancestors and your family dynamic, who you are in the dynamic of your family and so on. I don't want to get into this. But doing that, I discovered a moment when I was a child and I was left by myself alone, and I chose to be alone. You know, back in Brazil 40 years ago, it was a different situation. It was okay to be left alone as a young age. Something happened, I was supposed to be careful to not open the door, and then my godmother left, and a wind blew the door, and as young, I became afraid. In that moment of fear, I created a pattern. I went upstairs, I went to the window, I start asking for a neighbor to help me, and then the neighbor came, I got saved by the neighbor, and then I went to the neighbor, ended up waiting there, so I became charismatic, I became a go-getter, I became someone who makes something happen, adventure. So that moment of fear, I was coloring with my book, the wind blow, unexpected something come in, it create a pattern in my brain. When something unexpected happen, I take over. I go do something. I go take care of the emergency. I go become charismatic. Everybody likes me, right?
Well, that's the total opposite of someone who procrastinates.
Yeah, but
so what happened?
Anytime that playing occurs, anything that I'm doing as a project that I'm enjoying, I love doing the books for the catalog. I love sitting down and managing all the finances. I love doing that. But every time I'm doing something that represents playing or something concentrated, that is not just play but work, that is occurs to me I need time to resolve, an emergency click, I go into resolving a problem mode. So recently I have distinguishing all my body emotions and thoughts and feelings that comes with the simple fact of someone changing their schedule with me in a day. Someone texts me and say, I need to cancel today. That threw me off whatever I'm doing. So in the last month or so, I have been practicing, okay, the emergency happened. Is it something I really need to attend to, or something it's not an emergency, a disruptive action, something disrupt my concentration. Do I really need to go attend, or should I go back? So that's what I have been doing the work.
Yeah.
To distinguish what is real emergency, so I need to stop, or no, let me stop this.
Right.
And work on this.
Stay in focus.
On
what it is. So let's just kind of
put
have
it together.
Closure to this. So basically, number one, identifying yourself. If you're a person that tends to procrastinate a lot in life, regarding that you keep putting off, whatever it is, projects, or putting off dealing with something that's of importance.
Conversations.
Could be a conversation. And it's based on fear. If you're somebody that's just like, it's just fear, it's not a stem of laziness, it's fear of the unknown, or then you need to address that and understand there's nothing fearful about a hypothetical, something that hasn't occurred. You're going to have to face it at one time or another, so might as well make it today. Then another reason for procrastinating about something is just lack of prioritizing, lack of managing your time well. That's when you're going to pick up and write things down in importance, level of importance to you. And then making a deadline, and take it in small formations, but making a deadline to address these issues.
Can I add one in there? Say no, because you can prioritize, and then something happen, and like the ability to say no for things that were not in your list.
Oh, well, that's a whole different thing. But you say no to somebody else, you mean, or something else?
No, something come up, right?
Well, yes, and that is also, you have to, and you're going to have to weigh it out. Is this take precedent over what I needed to do today, what I had planned? Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. So being able to objectively address situations as they arise. And then last but not least, if it is a form of just pure and simple laziness, know that there's a price to pay for putting off these important things. You know, you just keeps piling, and it becomes habit forming.
Yeah.
And I know I personally do not harmonize well with people who tend to procrastinate and treat it, and simply because it's laziness, because it ultimately rolls over into the people in your lives. So.
I will give another perspective for laziness. Laziness a lot of times come from resignation and dissatisfaction with life. So I would find something joyful to do. Find something like that stimulate you.
Well, but sometimes laziness, what we perceive as laziness, is not laziness to them, because they are feeling they're doing things they enjoy, sometimes to the point where they're putting off their other obligations. Could be going to the gym every day of the week. If, I don't have time because I go to the gym, or because I'm running my errands, well, that's just lack of prioritizing and being able to manage your time wisely. So it doesn't mean laziness as in they're just sleeping all day, sitting all day. It just means lack of energy. I've got tomorrow to do it, and then tomorrow comes. And trust me, gentlemen, that doesn't work well in marriages, right? Take the trash out. I will. The trash is still sitting there. Cut the lawn. I get to it tomorrow.
Yeah. I will fix it. I don't know when, but I will fix it.
Yeah. So check it out. Look in the comments. If you don't see some of the points that I want to reference that I was hoping we'd have time to do in this episode, if it's not in the comments there, visit our TikTok or Instagram accounts, our Empowered Podcast on TikTok and
.org.
No, that's our website.
Oh.
Our social media platforms are TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, and they're all our Empowered Podcast. And I'll put it there in the comments, okay?
All right.
Thanks for joining us, guys, today, and we'll see you on the next episode of Empowered Podcast.